Morning and welcome. I'm Josephine Corcoran, holistic career coach and astrologer, and this is my weekly astrology for business forecast, which I present each week on a Monday morning. I've been presenting this forecast now for over a year or more every Monday. And I'm very excited. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very excited for a couple of reasons. It's I always get excited when we start a new calendar year from a zodiac perspective. And over the weekend, we had the autumn solstice take place here, or sorry, equinox, I should say, took place here in the southern hemisphere, and of course, for you up there in the north, we had the spring equinox take place. And this occasion happens when the sun changes sign and moves out of Pisces and into Aries. And Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. So it's like a brand new cycle is about to occur that will take another 365 days to take place, where the sun starts its course through the beginning of the zodiac. And it's interesting looking at this particular cycle because it's an opportunity for stepping into new beginnings. And so, for those of you who maybe didn't feel like the timing was quite right at the beginning of the year to plan out what it is that you wanted to what you wanted to create over 2021 and beyond, you may feel slightly more ready to take that step now, or at least step into the action of what it is that you dreamed up earlier in the year. And we've just had the sun going through Pisces for 4 weeks. And it's always, Pisces is always a time where it's about going into that dream state or going into that strong imaginative state. So we've had 4 weeks really where the sun's been inviting us to be much more creative, use our intuition, trust our hearts, connect into that spiritual essence of life. And it's a growing thing, the interest in embracing the concept of whether we want to call it spirituality, whether we want to call it connecting to our heart and being creative, whether we want to call it being able to imagine our own career or imagine the way we can work in a way that's really nourishing for our soul. We're all being really called to find a way to do that. And that's more challenging if we're in a role that's essentially bringing in the income and paying the bills and affording us the life that we really want to create for our families and for ourselves. But it's just so challenging to be doing that when there's a part of our heart that we feel like we're leaving on the table because we're not honoring the full essence of who we are. And so the last 4 weeks, there's been a strong kind of emphasis around connecting into the spiritual essence of ourselves. And now this week, the sun over the weekend at the equinox moved into Aries. And we've got 4 weeks now where Aries is a cardinal fire sign. And it's a sign that's energetically up for action. It's driven, it's self motivated, it wants to achieve goals, it wants to set and achieve goals. So it's exciting that we've now got some really strong energy around to get us to take action, to get us to work, to really to get things moving. And the other thing is this week we've still got the moon's in a growth phase. So we're at the first quarter phase of the lunar cycle this week, and whenever the moon is waxing or growing, it's a growth phase energy anyway, and it's about expanding and working on what it was that the goals or the intentions that we set at the new moon, but also just continuing to work on and advance the ideas and the goals and the things that we're wanting to create. It's much easier to do that when we're in a growth phase of the moon. Now, when we have a first quarter growth phase, which is where we're up to today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, it's a phase of adjustment, and it can manifest as a bit of tension, but we can harness that tension to create and take action. So we've got a strong energy of action this week. So to that end, before I progress any further, I'm very excited to share that Monday next week, I'll be going live with my Astrology for Business community. And I will be continuing to share my knowledge, share my passion for astrology and how to use astrology in your professional life. Of course, nothing's ever just purely professional because we're also looking at what's going on for us personally and how that informs our professional life. But in that community, I'll be doing weekly updates. To the same degree and potentially even more detail to support you to understand how to work with the energies and use the energies in an intuitive way to support aligning your career with your innate abilities and your purpose. And in that community, I'll also be giving very detailed information. I'll be doing every month, I'll do a new moon live webinar on Zoom where you'll be able to join and ask questions at the end. And I'll go into a lot more detail about the sort of rituals that you can be doing under the lunations. And I'll also be providing a monthly recorded full moon ritual and how you can work with the full moon energy. So they're the main components of the community, and there's more that I'll be adding to that as well. And I'll be doing a separate little post by the end of this week to talk more about that. But if you're interested in learning more about that, the landing page is almost finished, and I'll be sharing that landing page both on social when it's finished and also via my my newsletter. So sign up on the sign me up button here in Facebook if you haven't yet already registered to get hold of the information, my weekly newsletter, and I'll be sending out information about that. So I can't wait for that. It's going to be so good. All right. So what else is happening this week? What we've got is the Mercury, which rules how we communicate, also rules transportation. And it's in Pisces, which is a water sign. And it's really interesting. So I was just thinking about how much rain we've been having here in Avalon and all of the people that have really suffered from the heavy rains up the north coast into Queensland and other parts of the states. And I mean, Mercury, it's interesting whenever Mercury is in water signs to look at what's going on with the weather. And with so much rain, we've obviously been hemmed in and it's affected our ability to get around. So I thought that was just an interesting thing to really note. Mercury is going to be staying in the water sign Pisces until the 4th of April. And it gives us an opportunity to, again, to harness that ability to work with our intuition and to think about the spiritual essence of ourselves and how it is that we want to express what our souls come here to do. So that's what we've got with Mercury happening in Pisces. The other thing with Mercury in Pisces is it can be a little bit less succinct and it can change its mind a little bit more. Sometimes it can be harder to land on the point quickly. And so just notice if that's going on for you and just be gentle and just slow down and work with your heart and use that as your guide for your communication. Mars continues its journey through Gemini, which Mars rules our intrinsic drive and our motivation. And in Gemini, what that does is it brings a bit of a duality into the mix. So it's possible that with this energy, you've been feeling a lot like you're wanting to do numerous projects at once. And it's a really powerful time for researching as well with Mars in Gemini. Now, this week, Mars is making a couple of aspects that I wanted to talk about. Today at 1:34, it's going to be a really lovely time to start things that require any discipline and endurance because, and especially if it's related to technology, communication, or innovation. Because Mars is going to be making a really lovely trine to Saturn. Now, Saturn's the ring planet. It's all about long term. It's about commitment. And with Mars in Gemini and Saturn in Aquarius, this aspect this afternoon is really good at giving you the ability to use the technology that you're wanting to embrace from a professional perspective or start something that involves technology or communication or research at around 1:34 p.m. to maximize that energy. Then on Wednesday afternoon, I do encourage you at around 2:26 p.m. exactly, but in the lead up to that on Wednesday, you might just want to be really mindful with your communication because there is going to be a more challenging aspect where Mercury, which rules communication, is going to be making a square, which is also known as an adjustment with Mars. And now Mars wants to push forward and Mercury's how we communicate and how we think about things. So that can manifest as wanting to assert yourself or wanting to speak really directly or really bluntly. So just be very aware on Wednesday afternoon with your communication to perhaps think before you speak. If people are getting agitated around you, allow them to get it out. Don't take it on board as your own. Yeah, but it can be harnessed in a really positive way, because it can also, for those of you who may struggle to assert yourself or to use your voice, this can be a really lovely time on Wednesday afternoon to address things that you know need to be spoken about and to put your message on the table. Just making sure you do it with your heart will be the most powerful way to deliver that news. Okay, so what else we've got? Venus is moving into Aries this week. So that's going to be a real change as well. That happened this morning. So with Venus moving into Aries, Venus rules our relationships, how we want to collaborate with other people. It's also connected to, in a sense, it's connected to communication, because we want to be partnering with or communicating with other people. But it just, and it's also to do, Venus, she is also connected to making money. So moving into Aries does bring through this very strong thread of wanting to be independent, wanting to find ways to resource, be independent in relationships, to go out there and to achieve things for yourself. And it does also mean that, you know, it can mean that you're more driven to find ways that are actually going to be rewarded with money coming through the door. So yeah, with Venus in Aries, just expect an extra level of competition going on out there, everybody being driven and motivated to make things happen. So harness that for sure in your business. Now, there is a lovely aspect that's going to be culminating on Friday evening, and Friday at 5:57 p.m. the sun is going to be meeting up with Venus in the sky. And it's a very auspicious time when this happens, when they're at exactly the same point in the sky. It's really lovely for communication. It's really lovely potentially for who you might meet. It's also really lovely for manifesting and bringing through kind of anything to do with money, if you like. But the beautiful thing about it is it's Friday evening, and this week there's so much energy there available to be doing a lot. By Friday evening, I think you'll be ready to be having some fun, relaxing downtime with friends and family. So you can use that on Friday evening to have a really beautiful, special night. And if you haven't got a hot date planned with your loved one, then I recommend get one in the diary for Friday evening, and that'll be a really lovely night for you. Okay, so now I'll just talk quickly about the void of course moon. I won't go into all of the detail, and the main reason being there's not a lot of void of course moon action this week for you to have to duck and dive with all of your planning this week. So really the only time that it's going to come into play is, well, Wednesday morning it's void of course from 2:26 a.m. until 8:56 a.m. But it will be all good, clear all for the rest of Wednesday. And then Friday evening, it'll be void, of course, from 12:27 a.m. through till 2:25 p.m. So Friday morning, lunchtime, don't want to start anything brand new. Just work on work projects you've already started or that you're fixing or fine tuning. Then on Sunday, it'll be void, of course, from 10:47 a.m. till 4:22 p.m. But really on the weekend, unless you're starting something brand new, yeah, it's a really nice time for relaxing. So in closing, let's have a quick look at the moon and where the moon's going this week. Today, the moon is in Cancer all day, and it's in Cancer all day Tuesday, and then it'll be in Cancer up until 8:56 a.m. on Wednesday morning. As always, with the moon in Cancer, very powerful time for getting the work-life balance matters right. Feeling like you want to have everything just in order at home so that you can be really productive when you're going out into the world. And it's also a really good energy for thinking about things you need around you to feel secure. So whatever kind of, not necessarily protection, but what are the things that you can do for yourself that nourishes yourself, that makes you feel solid and secure within yourself is a really nice thing to be doing with Cancer. Also, the Cancer moon, if you're a leader and you've got a team that you're looking after, a very good time to be tending to the needs of the team, wrapping your arms around them, making sure they're all doing well emotionally and productively. So, from a leadership perspective, really good time to gather the crew and yeah, share your emotions, share how you feel they've been doing. Work with that from a leadership perspective. Then on Wednesday we've got the moon moving into creative and passionate and fiery Leo. So it's always good for having some fun, but also good for expressing yourself and getting the word out there and sharing work you've been working on that you're really proud of and you're excited to let others know about. And it's also fun for networking and just letting others know what little creations you've been working on. So that's on when all day Wednesday is great for that. Thursday that's great for that too. And then on Friday morning, the moon is going to be moving into Virgo, where Virgo gives you an opportunity with that void of course moon and the moon in Virgo on Friday afternoon. Really a good time to just make sure you've got everything organized. Just take out at least a couple of hours if you can, or it doesn't even need to be a couple of hours, but just make sure your systems are working for you. Make sure you can find everything you need to easily, because as the year goes through, we're going to be getting busier and busier. We've got more and more things that are going to be coming our way. So the more organized we are, the more readily we can find information and lay our hands on things, the easier our life is, because Virgo is all about efficiencies. The other thing about the moon in Virgo, it's a really great time for editing your work, for spotting any errors in things that you need to just fix up that you know aren't quite right, because Virgo is about making things whole. And then the other thing about Virgo is it's always a very powerful energy for working on detoxing or anything that's to do with health matters. So that's from Friday afternoon 2:25 through till Sunday morning. Sorry, through till Sunday afternoon at 4:22, when the moon's going to be moving into Libra, and it'll be lovely for connecting and collaborating with others on Sunday afternoon. So that's my last in-depth astrology for business weekly forecast. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a really amazing week ahead, full of inspired action. And I will still be turning up on Mondays just to give some snippets about what's going on. But the detail will be found in the membership group. So if you've been finding this useful, I would love to see you in the membership platform. And yeah, wishing you an amazing, amazing week ahead. Take care and lots of love. Bye bye.